1, 2, 3, start the game.
Hey, welcome to ONV, Respect the Game podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be here. We had a great time. They had a great time. I was not here.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, Coach.
Yeah.
You feeling better?
I feel much better.
That's good.
Man. I'm glad that my people did their job. You guys
I'm glad we made you proud.
made me proud, man. It's like one monkey don't stop a show.
I hear you.
We
Put
gotta,
me in, Coach. Put me in.
yeah. So we're going to get started real quick. We're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves and start with Miss Shalante.
I'm Shalante Clements. And
It's your first time doing it?
all right, I'm Shalante Clements. I'm a coach as well as a trainer. So
Yeah. I am C Stats. I'm the resident voice of Neutral Voices and Neutral Voices Media Group. I enjoy this panel all the time.
All right, I'm JJ Foster. Happy to be here, part of ONV. Always a pleasure. Good to be back. Good to have you back, Coach.
I appreciate it. I'm Coach Ayers, and it's a blessing to be back and a part of this lovely panel. We're here to entertain you and give you some great impact on sports.
Yes.
So let's get busy. We had like I said, we had a great conversation
about sports and multiple sports, multi athletes.
Yeah, multiple sports. Yeah.
Or playing one sports or
Right.
doing multiple sports. Jay, you did a great job of
Definitely.
bringing the information and running the show. And I heard you guys got a lot of feedback from that program. And when I was watching it, it was like y'all was hitting it on spot. Everything you guys was talking about was on point. And let's get some of that feedback that we had.
All righty. Well, first I will share, a couple of comments that we got, and then if you guys want to chime in or comment, we can go from there. But the first comment said, this is such a relevant topic and one that I'm extremely passionate about. For many reasons, a few personal takeaways from the discussion that echo loudly for me. Commercialization is breeding the specialization. I hear some umps. You go right there. What's the umps? What you got?
Well, that's a point that I made. That, I think now that our young athletes are becoming, more commodities and they're being commercialized. So if I could keep, and I made the point, if we can keep like the next LeBron James on my AAU basketball team, I'm taking them to all these circuit games and all of this, then that is not only bringing attention to my team, but when the next round that I got a selling point. I just trained so-and-so. So stay with me, and that doesn't give them the flexibility to be able to, go and explore other options.
When you say other options, you talking like playing with other coaches or sports?
No, like other sports.
Okay, okay.
Track, and JJ mentioned track. If you ran track, that's going to pretty much condition you for every sport that you can play.
Yeah.
But I think that it's one of the least popularized sports now is track because they want football, they want basketball, and, they don't.
Actually, after looking up some stats, I think track was like the number 2. Football was number 1 for the guys, and then track was number 2. And then basketball laid at number 3, actually.
Really?
Yes.
So when you say LeBron James, we're talking about a special person.
Yes.
But when you're talking about Billy over here who trying to figure out where he fit in at,
True.
yeah, he could play with LeBron all the time,
Right.
but he still got to find him a sport that's going to make him go to that next level.
But with that, Coach, is that I'm going to keep Billy specialized right there so he can be
The next
one.
Right.
So I don't want him to go play
Hypnotized.
baseball. I don't want to go play football. I want him to stay right there because I become fascinated that that's how he's going to make it.
Right. So
And so does Billy.
That's true.
Here's my
Billy's
thing.
parents.
I heard JJ say that when college coaches come and try to recruit players, the one thing that they want to know is how many sports he played
Right.
or what other sports did he
That
did.
shows your
So I'm talking about Billy, who's trying to go to college, and you know, maybe doing basketball, but did he do other sports
Right.
to help him get to that next level?
Yeah, but I think what the message was saying and what Clarence was speaking to is one of the things that breeds the specialization is commercialization. People trying to make money,
Okay.
whether it's like you say, Billy might not be that good to you. You like, man, Billy need to figure this out. But you know, that geeking Billy in his parents' home.
Yeah.
Hey, you stick with us, you can be like LeBron
I got
James.
you.
Right.
You can be like that. So that's what we're saying. Keep coming back to us. Pay me this money, and
right, and that might be all year round. We
Correct.
need you.
so that's what that is. But here's another one, and I know you're gonna love this, Clarence, because again, this is a point that you've always talked about. They don't condition anymore; they specialize in training. I used to have a coach, and as a recruiting tool, when I played for him, he would say, "I'm not going to run you as conditioning. We play 94-foot offense at full speed. If you blankety blankers play hard in this system all year round, you will be in better shape than any team that takes time away from playing to condition." You know, so we only ran as a penalty for missed free throws and giving up offensive rebounds. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, we're gonna laugh
Wow.
at that one.
Wow.
So, well, Clarence has always said that. His number one, I think, my first day of the show, kids don't condition like they used to, JJ. So when I see a
Definitely.
comment like that, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first person I thought of.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because they don't. And again, and you mentioned this, I think, on the show too. And I think ESPN does, is it the sports science segment,
Yeah.
where they give you all this science behind why you should do this sport, and it'll make you jump higher, and it'll do this. And if you do that, and it gives you the specialization to just stay right there, work on these set of muscles, and it's going to improve you for that particular sport. But if you use them all around, and I say most fundamental things translates per sports. You know, football. If you play basketball, you'll learn how to, bang somebody and move somebody out your way. If you like a lineman or a linebacker, and you got the body, you'll learn how to do that. But you'll also learn running up and down the court. You'll get more agile. You get more.
Footwork,
But
yep.
just specializing, you just actually working
Once-
on that.
Okay,
particular thing.
but once again, that's what we're talking about, doing multiple sports, though.
Yeah.
You know that you're doing different sports to where you're being socialized. You're getting to meet new people. You're
Different
doing
types of conditioning.
yeah.
Which is funny. Now, the next comment, y'all going right into that. That's beautiful. But again, our listeners, hey, right on point. It says, the greats play multiple sports. It's about competing. These kids are running from competition. Not to mention, the value of character development
Yeah.
is diminished. Kids are missing out on how to be a good citizen of sport. You say, oh my gosh, this combined with the previous topic of competing could underline an entire discussion.
Hey, that's point blank right there. Because we talk about it all the time. We got a kid in high school who doing 7-on-7 who should be on the basketball court because he has the skills to play and make a difference for his school and for himself. You know, it's like, and I know we talked about it off camera a lot, Jay, is about, you get many of your guys calling you, it's like, man, that dude should be playing basketball.
Right.
You know, instead of playing football all year round because he getting more out or, you know,
You
it's
can't,
just going to make him a better ball.
you can't force kids to do something they don't want to do, though. Like, if they ain't been involved since they were younger and they don't have no interest, it's hard to gain that interest at the high school level.
No. I'm talking about they got the skills for it. They done it all the time. You know, and then a person who has a 7-on-7 group is telling him, I'm going to get you to the next level.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And that's all I want you to do is football.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think JJ mentioned this too, and I think he just hit on it too, about competition, about being afraid of competition. Because if I'm the star basketball player, I don't want to be exposed on the football field or on the track. I want to keep my eliteness up. So I'm just going to stay where I am.
That's that softness again.
But
huh?
that also, and I think you hit on it, it builds character because it lets you learn how
Yes, sir.
not to be the man and learn your space and be able to operate when you're not the elite at something. That builds character.
Correct. I'll say this. Look, we all just watched the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all watched the Super Bowl. There's a Super Bowl champion from Fort Wayne.
Yes.
There's a Super
Drew
Bowl
Tranquil.
champion that trades with the agency here. So again, if I look at that, man, how could I be that caliber athlete? How can I make it to the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
So the person he's training with, the agency he's training with, that carries a lot of weight. You know, so what they saying.
Commercialized.
But that same person did 3 sports when he was in high school. I mean, he did multiple
Yeah.
sports. Let me put it like that.
But they can still sell it how they want to sell it.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying when he went to college, he had multiple sports he was playing.
We ain't gonna broadcast that. We want him here. We training him.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's right.
okay. I hear
Tell
you.
him, Tay. Tell him.
I got you.
Yeah.
I was just trying to throw it out there how
Playing multiple sports.
he was a
Yeah.
multiple sports
Helped
player
him get to
before
where
he
he
got where he is as a Super Bowl champ. So just throwing that out.
I mean, I agree.
All right. I'll add another comment. It says, I'll add baseball, golf, tennis, swimming, wrestling, and increasingly track are constantly overlooked. This is sad. These are sports when an athlete is forced into an intense competition with self. Regardless of how they fare against the outside competition, the cerebral growth these sports offer for a young athlete is unmatched in its transferability to the main sport and also as it applies to life as an adult.
Yes, sir.
That is so true.
So we know what he's talking or that person talking about because that's how we grew up.
Correct.
All them different sports, we was trying to do them. And you guys in the audience out there be waiting on ONV
The end of
sports program to bring all that back into play
coming.
because it's necessary for them to be a part of our youth life.
Right.
It made us who we were, coming up. The competition, it was something that we didn't even know how to play tennis.
Right.
And when we got out there, we wasn't letting you beat me.
Right.
I wasn't going to let you beat me.
What's the rules?
Yeah, let me know what's going on. What can I do?
I think it's a different mindset when it's an individual sport, like they said, and that's the potential growth that you gain in life because you are alone in the end, like self-developing and stuff like that.
Hey, I agree. I don't mean to cut you, but we always say in a team sport, man, you need to go play golf or you need to go play tennis.
See?
You need to go
Get that
do
mind
your
right.
own thing.
No, they said you ain't that good. This ain't your sport. Go somewhere
that's
else.
what they said.
No. When you try to do
Yeah, I
too
got you.
much,
Oh, okay.
it's like you trying to be the whole man,
team.
the
Right, so-
one-man team.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to go bowling or you need to go golfing or something.
Yeah.
man.
I thought
You
you get to
can't
the point
blame
with somebody
nobody.
that didn't like contact. You need to go play contact.
Okay. There's so many
used
ways
then,
and
too,
views.
you know.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
too, but that's another
So
story.
many different views.
Yeah.
And back to you guys' point about the individual sports, it's to the point. This is something that I brought up with some people. Since I've been back in Fort Wayne, I started noticing. You get a lot of athletes that are scared of that competing in that failure. So the team sport.
Nobody to blame it
If
on.
we lose, that's right. I can talk about what Tay didn't do.
Right.
See, Stats missed that rebound.
Right,
I can
definitely.
talk about what somebody did. Coach missed that block.
Right.
Now, if I run track, if I wrestle and I
Swim,
lose,
Right.
or any of
That's
that.
on
who you betting on?
Right.
It's just you. There's nobody to blame it on. But there's so many people. I watch kids run track. I watched a young man run track, and he ran. And I've seen this too a couple times. That kid will pull up. I'm like, man, why'd you pull up? Oh man, I wasn't even trying. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of running that race and saying I gave my best and I lost, it's
Right.
easier to say,
I
Hey,
gave up.
I
I gave
gave
it
up.
to him.
Right.
I gave it to him.
yeah,
I could have won that easily.
Yeah.
So,
Or even in a team sport, defensively, I tell them, man, get up on it. That dude killing you.
Right.
Kid'll tell you, Oh, I wasn't even guarding.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh?
What?
I wasn't guarding, but they mind. I
Sir.
didn't give him my best effort. So what you talking about? He wasn't killing me. That's the mindset that they have. You know.
Nobody wants to look weak, though.
Correct.
So, I mean, but that's people in life. But how do you get better? You have to fail to succeed, right?
That's
So,
exactly right. You're exactly right.
Or were you done? Because we just got a comment as we were live, JJ.
Okay, go ahead.
And it says, sports has a positive effect on society. It's people and money that have the negative effect on sports.
I just said that before we got on set. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and I do agree with that, and that goes back to the commercialism of the sports. I think it's become, and I was talking about this with a group of people Saturday before the Super Bowl, and they were talking about, remember when they were out there for the love of the game, and then somewhere in the mid '80s and late '90s, and now sports became a business. You know, I remember when quarterbacks and people were just out there playing to play, but now it's a business. You know, you can't hit Tom Brady like you hit Patrick Mahomes. You can't do certain things to certain players, and it's become a business because they got to keep that main person that's going to be that money draw. They got to keep them healthy. They got to keep them in the limelight. So it's become that it's more of, I'm going to keep you like what it was in the NBA. They fight with the load management because they got people, they don't want their stars on the court until the playoffs, until they really need them. So it's the money, and it's the factor that, it's telling them that you don't have to work as hard until we need you to work as hard.
Yeah. That's funny you said some money, but, you check Michael Jordan, 82 games.
Right.
All the superstars, the big wigs. Michael Jordan played 82 games at 40 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, but to your point, I get it. Yeah.
And that's with that specialization. They're not conditioned and, things like that. So they're going to sit 30 games load management.
That
Exactly.
conditioning.
Hey, and I just want to say this for the record, because you're right. We talked about that topic off air. I think C Stacks text that himself and then like somebody called.
Hey man, somebody hold on.
He wanted to get that out.
Go check it. Put it out off channel. Yeah, look what somebody.
He didn't want to get it out there.
That was smooth.
Yeah,
That was smooth, man.
yeah.
That was smooth. All right, now back to the real comments.
Yeah,
All this.
okay.
We playing in there. They said Dr. James Andrews wrote perpetually on the topic of overuse and specialization as dangerous injury risk for athletes. The office in Florida. Okay, he's out of Florida, but roughly 40% of his surgical practice was built on repairing amateur athletes injured simply from overuse. So again, think about it. That's something that we brought up the other day.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, in my research, I looked and I saw, these are stuff that we just sit up here talking.
Yeah.
This is scientifically proven as facts, know.
Right.
But when you're trying to do 3 sports at one time, that's something different than doing a sport in a season.
No, yeah. When that same sport, what it's telling you year round, you're working the exact same muscles.
Right.
When you do multiple sports, so you're right. If you do a sport year round, different sports year round, you're working different muscles. You're building. But that same sport over and over and over, that's what they talk about. You're tearing it up.
Right.
Yep.
That's why we see more ACLs and MCL tears, in basketball players
Than you used to.
and Achilles
Yeah.
problems, because that's all you're using, the jumping and,
Also
motion.
the food too.
And that's why when we was coming up and we was playing multiple sports, we wasn't getting injured a lot.
Yeah.
We was learning to use other muscles, and we didn't know all that now. Let's keep that one under. We didn't know
I
that.
mean,
But
I think it got a lot of factors to it as well, like what we intake, the food, what it's come to now today as well. So I mean,
man, I was eating peanut butter and jelly and bologna sandwich. Intake. Okay. No, I'm just messing with you.
hey,
So, do we have any more comments? Or
We've got more. It's up to y'all. If y'all want to hear them. They talk about professionalism taking over at a kid's age. A lot of it, is really saturated.
I want to hear that with professionalism taking over because I got something behind that. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Professionalism is taking these kids at a young age and trying to work them as if they are pro athletes
Okay.
in terms of training and year-round activity. Some can do it like Tiger Woods. He was treated like a professional golfer when he was 4, 5, 6 years old. But we have to realize that Tiger Woods was a special case.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids can't do that, don't have the ability to withstand that type of training and that type of parental coach pressure. Now, parents are hiring ex-pro baseball players as hitting and pitching instructors with their kid is 12. They're thinking what more is better, and they're ending up getting the kids hurt.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I was saying, you know, the commercialism. Because now, and we're going to go back to little Billy as you talked about, Coach, in a minute. Because now, all right, I had JJ come in and train. JJ been in the NBA. He's a former NBA player. So I'm having him coming in. He got an AAU team. I'm having him train. JJ got a few friends that come in. In my mind, I'm going to keep my kid here because he's going to develop into this pro. He's going to hang around Jay. It's like we believe it, through osmosis, he's going to gain this talent just by being around, you know. So, but we'll pay all this money for our kids to, you know, these hitting coaches, these dietitians, all of this. And
Why you pointing at me?
No, because you mentioned the food,
Oh,
the
yeah.
dietitians and everything. But what are we giving them? What are we really giving them? Because, you know, I know.
Is that a
played football.
false? Is that a false hope? Though?
Yes, I played football, but I knew I wasn't going to the NFL. But I would have spent all this money training, specializing for what?
But that's what I'm saying. Is that a false hope?
Because maybe you could have made it to the NFL.
Nah, I know my limitations. I know my limitations. I could run, but yeah, I wasn't going.
Okay.
Yeah,
But honestly, we had on this topic, and I made a point. Sometimes I'm not interested when people know or don't know. Like you said, I could have made it. You don't know that.
Right.
That's what you said.
That's like the
but
guy
with the
giving
proper
up.
training, hey, you don't know that. I don't know. Hey, you said you ran a 49 quarter. I don't know what your 40 was. You may not have went to the NFL, but you could have played at some level or whatnot. You know, you let a professional do that. But that actually in lies the problem, because everything that I'm telling you, there are parents that, like you said, what you not, and they said, oh yeah, hey, everything, they not running no 49
Exactly.
quarters. They
Right.
running a minute 12. You know, and talking about what they level their kid is going
Right.
to be
Right.
in. So there is a kind of give and take with that, and that's the interesting part. So
Yeah.
you
I
don't
did-
want to shortchange yourself.
Yeah, I just think it's false hope sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like, because you want to spend thousands of dollars just to make your son a better ball player, that don't mean it's going to happen. So, you know,
I mean, let them throw their money at it, though. Right?
but I think you hear something. That's the key, though. I mean, yeah, if you spend that money, still have your eyes wide open. If my kid, you know, some people pay that money and think that their kid is supposed to be better
Oh, yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
That's the
somebody.
wrong mentality.
And that's not it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pay that money and say, hey, I'm gonna do everything I can to get you. We're gonna see where you're gonna
Right.
be.
exactly.
But just
But
because
that
you pay
mean-
that money, don't guarantee.
You
Correct.
tried, though. You tried.
Correct. Yeah. If you got it, hey, do it. But so many times, a guy in Indianapolis was talking about a young lady asked about, who his son was working out with, this, that, and the other, and said, you know, talked about his son and her son. They started training at the same time, and you know, she said her son was just as good as his. Now his son get ready to go play Division I college
Exactly.
basketball and
Right.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But like he said, he looked at this lady again, and only him could say you'd have to know this. You know? But it was like he said, man, I'm looking at this lady like, okay, their baselines are definitely not the same. You
Right.
know, my son came out here. He's an ex-college athlete. Wife was a college athlete. You know, and here, you know, this lady was her husband was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and she was a housewife. That, you know, they paid some money for a guy to work out.
That high hope.
Yeah, neither one of them played the sport because they paid.
Yeah.
You know, don't work like that all the time.
But before we get out of here, and I wanted to ask this question, and that's why I wanted to talk about the professionalism too. We watched the Super Bowl Sunday, and then there's another incident I
Here
want to
we
talk
go.
about
Here we
because
go.
we talk about sportsmanship and citizenship among sports people.
Yeah.
But there's two things: Travis Kelce and the Andy Reid situation. They made it. You know, we have talked about. You know, Travis Kelce wanted to win, so he was like, "Yo, coach, don't take me out." You know, he wanted to be in a part of it. But the way that it was approached and the way that it's portrayed, is that he was just going off on his coach. But I do like how Andy Reid handled it because he didn't address it then.
Right.
What, as coaches, how do y'all feel about
I
situations
feel like the
that?
media spin everything, and that's with everything. News, sports, that's my personal opinion.
I didn't think Kelsey did anything wrong, man. I mean, could he handle it differently? Probably so, but he in the heat of the moment. He seen what was going on the field. He knew if he was, if he was on the field, the results was gonna be, and he went out there and proved it. But back to your point, I don't think he did anything wrong. It was just the heat of the moment, that he was just trying to
Right.
get his point across in an aggressive way.
I look at it as how you look at a household. Your house, hey,
Yeah.
you, yes sir, yes ma'am.
Mm.
You better not look your parents in the eye.
Mhm.
You go to somebody else's house, they might be cussing at their mom and
Right.
dad.
Mhm.
Right.
It's all in how that household is set up. That football team, like you said, you like how Andy Reid handled it because, like he said, he knows Travis Kelsey better than anybody.
Yeah.
And he knows his will to win. He knows his passion.
Exactly.
And that was nothing more. And they didn't have to really be in before. He wasn't out of control. I mean, we can call it disrespectful just because, that is a player. And honestly, he caught him off guard. So, I mean, it had,
It started it.
yeah, Andy
Yeah.
Reid was looking left and my man was to his right, so that's what it was. But now, our society that we live is cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
People catching things,
That they ain't used to
at
get.
every angle. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And, now you get a behind the scenes look at it. But the reality is, like you said, before there's cameras, stories like that go on all the
All the
time,
time.
especially in professional
Right,
sports.
right.
Yeah.
And I think we talk, off air, when you are the best at what you do, Travis Kelsey, he has earned it right.
Yeah.
We're not talking about no little boys in middle school. We're not talking about no little young man
Right.
in high school who really don't know nothing. We talk about a guy who has exceeded at the highest level in the world.
Right.
So he's got a certain amount of know-how. He's been in the league X amount of years.
Yeah.
That's like, in professional sports, they don't even call they college coaches coach last name. They call it by their first name a lot of times.
Oh.
Only the ones that get, Coach Belichick, a lot of respect. But for the most part, these guys are grown men. They treat you as a grown man. Hey, Bill. Hi, Dick. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
that's how you get down. So, I mean, I look at it like that. Mike Slayer had told a story the other day because they brought that up to him. And he told a Super Bowl story. And he said, hey, his offensive coordinator was in his face telling him what he wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And he said, he told the dude, man, get out of my face. I ain't trying to hear it. Said the dude kept getting in his face. He said he took his helmet. He said he slammed it into my man's chest as hard as he could and said, look, I'm out there. You ain't out there. Hey, if you ain't going to go out there and block nobody, shut the F up, And he walked away. And now think about it. There's no cameras. Nobody caught it. We don't hear about that. Hear about it years later. But
So,
that's the reality.
C-Stat, what you think about that?
I think it was a heat of a moment. I think it was a point that he wanted to win, and they thought the game was getting away from him. I can give it to JJ. He wanted to be out there. And I also do think when Shalante said it was an overspent, that, nobody knows what was said. They just saw the emotion. So at times, we talk about you got to have that dog. You got to have that want to win. You got to have the will to win. And I think that's what it was. But I do like how Andy Reid just, kept it a process. He didn't even make it a big deal. He just processed and went on and kept the game going. So I think Andy Reid was the best in this situation because he didn't blow it up or make it something that it shouldn't have been.
to your point about Andy Reid not blowing up, think about what if Andy Reid takes that old school discipline. I'm going to sit you. You're not going to play the
Right.
second half.
Right.
Hey, who the Super Bowl champs?
Right.
The 49ers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, Andy Reid not falling for that. He's
Right.
like, hey, understand, this is what it is.
Right.
But that's what the good ones do. They don't,
Yeah.
you don't get caught up in that little
And like
bit
you
of stuff.
say, them grown men's out there too.
Yeah.
Bro,
You
man.
know, it's not like, like it was just the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it ended in their favor.
Yeah.
So as much as they wanted to talk about what had happened on the sideline, not between the
in
lines.
the games, right?
you know.
Yeah. But before we leave, coaches, what is a teaching moment you can get out of that you can tell your young athletes?
Don't get in my face.
Hey, that's it right there, man.
That's about the line.
He said-
You can try it if you want to.
What you see on TV, don't fear. Here, look.
I thought it was a Super Bowl. It's a WWE.
Man.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think it goes to what I said. Those are grown men. It's a whole different world, and people will try to compare. You'll get parents that come and say, "Well, this is what such and such did." Okay,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that man paid his dues to do that. That man gets paid multi-million-dollars to do that.
Right.
Your son is still down here in these developmental stages where we're trying to teach him, and he's gonna learn.
That's
you
good
know.
knowledge.
So no,
Yeah.
he doesn't. He hadn't paid no dues to get away with any of that.
I got you.
And we definitely got to teach our kids to be respectful to our adults.
Yes.
And that wouldn't be provoking that.
Hey, that was a good conversation that we had. Appreciate the feedback from the audience and continue to bring it to us. And
Right.
we will continue to keep talking about it. I just want to say thank God for these great people that we got on this panel to continue to bring us good stuff to the table. Hey, keep God in your life and continue to live.
Respect the game on 3. 1, 2, 3, respect the game.